Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the SolarQuotes Vodcast, which is basically me and Ronald having a chat.
Yep.
How are you, Ronald?
Oh, pretty good. I was feeling poorly, but I went to the doctor and he gave me some drugs.
Awesome.
Yeah, they work. Who knew drugs could make you feel good? If I'd known, I would have gone much sooner.
So you're feeling good?
Yes, but also stressed. Because there's chocolate in this room and I'm not currently eating it. So there is tension in my body.
So what's your advice to the kids watching? If you feel bad, take drugs.
Or chocolate. Chocolate is even better than drugs. So,
Good. Well, let's do something a bit different today. Let's start with a Renew Economy article.
Okay.
Because the Greens didn't tell us about this. They just told Renew Economy.
Oh,
That's okay.
Shattered.
I can understand why they'd do that. Greens unveil 2.2 billion battery scheme to bring home storage in line with solar. So this is a federal policy from the Greens. $7,000 rebate for a battery.
Yes, that's a lot of money.
Good idea, bad idea?
It's a terrible idea.
Why is that?
Because at the moment, particularly outside of South Australia, storage isn't necessary for renewable energy. We're not at a point yet where we need storage. So why they're subsidising batteries now when they could put this money towards more solar, more wind power? If they put that $1 in 4 towards solar, this would be enough to pay for almost 9 gigawatts of solar. That'd shut down a couple of large coal power stations. It's nuts.
That would be a greener outcome, surely.
Yes. There's no need for this. It's nuts. It's nuttier than a chipmunk's cheek pouches in a pecan packing plant.
I'm not sure what maths they've done, but they're saying if you get a $7,000 rebate on a battery, that will make your battery pay back in 3 years, which matches solar. How have they worked that out?
I have no idea. And why is that something we're aiming for? It's the emissions in the atmosphere, and it's the toxic pollution that's causing the harm. That's what we should be eliminating. We shouldn't be installing batteries for the hell of it.
Yeah. I love the Green Party. I normally vote for them, but they are pretty naive on a lot of things.
Yes, I vote for the Green Party too, but I hope they improve a lot. Room for improvement, definitely.
Yep. Stupid policy, Me Too politics. Come on, Greens, you're better than this. The problem, one of the problems with the Greens I see is they're very well intentioned, but pretty naive and not pragmatic.
Yes. But
they don't. I've spoken to a number of Greens politicians about this, and one in particular, he wanted to hear that batteries would have a better payback than they have, and he wanted to hear that home batteries were a positive for the environment. When I went negative, his eyes just glazed over and he changed the subject. He did not want to hear it, man. It was...
Yep.
Anyway.
What would you know about it?
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, by the time everyone's watched this, Tesla should have unveiled their Model Y.
Why?
So you got the S, the 3, the X, and now the Y.
Oh, so it spells out C3XE.
Something like that. Model Y, yeah. What do you have to say about that? We'll watch it on the TV later.
I think it's great that, people will have the option to buy electric cars if they want them. So, yay, Tesla. I mean, if it wasn't Tesla, it'd be someone else. Let's not get too starry-eyed, but great job, Elon. And the people doing the actual work. Good, it's great. Good.
So I guess if the Model 3 is too small for you, then you can get the SUV version, which I think we'll find out in a few hours will be same platform, bit heavier, bit less efficient, bit more expensive.
Yeah.
But looks adventurous.
And it'll get people driving those gasoline guzzlers to go electric.
And that's important.
That is important, yeah.
Still planning to get a Model 3 this year if they come out in Australia.
All right. Well, I got my fingers crossed for you because I'm going to borrow it. Take it for a nice long drive.
What's this picture you've put up, Ronald?
Oh, yes. This is Tesla's quarterly profits and loss. And there's a lot of red on that. And in case you're wondering, red is not a good thing in this circumstance. It's losses. But just in the last couple of quarters last year, they've made profits, so that's good. There's no need to panic about a company like I almost said Tosla, like Tesla running constant losses like this. The idea is you run a little loss for a long time, then your product dominates the marketplace for a long time, and you make you make a lot of money then. That's the plan. So just because, okay, this red at the end, that's a big worry. They almost went bust. That's too much red. But, there's no need to panic just because they're burning through a lot of money. If they're actually getting the products out and they're working and they've got the quality control issues under control.
Yeah. So that will be exciting.
Yeah.
I'm all for an electric car future, man. Can't bring it too soon. Okay.
Yes, I want ones that drive themselves because I want my father off the road.
I trust the computer to not hit me on my push bike more than I trust the average driver. Okay. Here was a blog post written by a chap called Dr. Nick Gunnedah, who lives in he's all right by me because he lives in a caravan in Canberra.
Okay, right.
He does. He lives in a caravan.
Wow.
And
that's a cold place to live in a caravan.
He's the CEO of a company called SolarQuotes based in Canberra. They do really clever software that forecasts the output of solar farms using satellite cloud cover data, among other things. And it appears to be really accurate.
Yeah, I tried it out.
Yeah, worked for you?
Yeah.
So Nick had a thing called an API, which is kind of a programming interface that you could use for free to work out if your solar system had produced the power it should have produced each day over the last 7 days. That was a bit complicated to use because you had to type things into the web and stuff. So he created this tool for based off a SolarQuotes post that I wrote, which makes it really easy. You get these sliders, the angle of your panels, the direction they're pointing in, a thing called an efficiency factor, which is the only kind of hard thing to get right. 100% is perfect. If you've got a bit of shade, it will be less.
Or panels facing east or west.
No, he handles that with the east-west facing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My panels are north. Sorry.
Degradation, depending on how old your panels are. You say where you are in the country. It looks at the satellites. It looks what the cloud cover was on the last 7 days. And it gives you a graph like this that shows you how many kilowatt hours you should have produced each day. So really, really useful because it answers the question accurately, is my solar system performing as it should? You compare that with your monitoring system or even the numbers on your inverter display. You can say, yeah, SolarQuotes says I should have produced 27 kilowatt hours on Thursday and I produced 26. Pretty good, pretty happy. It's kind of solar analytics for cheapskates.
Yes. It does the job pretty well.
But does the job pretty well. So that's great. Thank you, Dr. Nick, for creating a free tool that helps people measure the performance of their solar system. Really
if you have any doubts or just curious about your system performance, give it a go.
Super easy to use. Any questions, leave a comment on the blog post and Dr. Nick gets straight back to you from his caravan in Canberra.
Yes.
Cool.
I bet he has solar panels on that caravan.
He's got one camping panel.
Oh, well, he's probably an efficient guy.
He's a very efficient guy. Okay, next post.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is your bugbear.
Well, it's just a horrible, horrible waste.
60 million tons of toxic coal ash at Lake Macquarie.
Yep.
It's not very dense stuff, is it, coal ash?
No, not when it's dry.
Huge volume.
Yeah, massive amount. Well, we can show what sort of volume we're talking about here.
So what's this picture, Ronald?
This is the, I don't know how to pronounce it, the Airing Power Station on the, this hand, left.
That's your left, Ronald.
Yes, and that's the Vales Point Power Station on the right. The white areas, those are giant mounds of fly ash over 1 kilometre across. And it's all piled up there. They damp it down, stop it blowing away. But it's all ash from burning coal. It contains heavy metals. It's getting into the lake, which is a lagoon. which has limited access to the sea, so stuff can easily...
I used to live very close to Lake Macquarie.
Oh, well, you know it much better than I do then.
Yeah.
And the heavy metals can accumulate there. It's getting to the seafood. Of course, you know, don't care about the animal welfare. Just care about what happens to us when we eat those animals. And that's probably sarcastic, by the way. And
Probably.
yeah, fly ash, it can be used by the cement industry. They throw it into cement, but they shouldn't, unless it's necessary.
Why?
Because if you don't use it, then your cement will absorb CO2 from the atmosphere as it cures. Unfortunately, the building industry is such that they usually want the fast drying, fast curing stuff.
So if you put fly ash in there, it absorbs the CO2 from the fly ash instead. Interesting those pictures when you look at people complaining about the area of solar farms.
Yeah.
Energy density of solar compared to coal.
Yes. You look at those. Just what the ash takes up.
Happily forget about the fly ash.
The fly ash, the mines.
And the mines.
And they say
the cemeteries.
Cemeteries.
All the people have killed.
Yes. People say agricultural land is taken up by solar farms. This takes up a huge amount of land, and the ozone from the coal power stations, the pollution, that has a terrible effect on wheat, soybeans, pulses, sugarcane too, I think, and it cuts the agricultural output in those areas. So that's a bigger consideration than solar farms. But, you know, if you're worried, put the solar on your roof. Simple solution.
So in conclusion, coal power is good or bad?
Bad, and the simplest solution to this ash problem is to shut down the power stations. The oldest one, I believe, is over 40 years old, and the newest one of these two is 35. So
pretty old.
Yeah, pretty old. We're not losing anything particularly valuable if we shut them down earlier than they have to be.
Be like a taxi driver deciding not to use a 40-year-old car.
Yeah.
Which they don't, because they're sensible.
Yes.
They use hybrids.
That's right. Or LPG ones these days.
Or soon electric, you'd hope. Better news. Best review of the week.
Oh, goody.
This is from a company called Aussie-wide Solar, who I'm not very familiar with. They are not a SolarQuotes client, but Ned decided this was the best review of the week.
Mm-hmm.
They visited me at my home on several occasions, not me, the guy, to explain exactly how we would go about addressing my needs. I did not want the panels installed on my house, but rather on my workshop garage in the backyard. That often freaks some solar installers out. They don't like to go on outbuildings. Roofs on the workshop face northeast and southwest, but they were happy to use those, so that's good. Many installers, again, have a kind of mortal fear of south-facing roofs. But as long as you do the production estimates and the client's happy, there's nothing wrong with a south-facing roof. He installed a 9 kilowatt system comprising 10 kilowatt solar edge inverter, 27 times 335 watt LG Neon 2 optimized panels. Nice system. Very professional and courteous. True workmanship was at an extremely high standard. And on completion, everything was left neat and tidy. So yeah, nice one, Aussie-wide Solar. There's worst review of the week.
Oh no.
I've forgotten the name of these guys. Oz. It's easy to get wrong. Ned?
Oz Solar.
Got to be careful because it's a really generic name.
Yes.
Oz Solar Australia.
Oz. Thank you, Ned. Oz Solar Australia. I have been trying to cancel an order that my mother-in-law signed up for after feeling intimidated into buying. I have tried to ring this company to cancel the installation and have tried to contact the sales consultant who keeps hanging up on me. Don't use this company for your own peace of mind. The solar system they are trying to sell is $13,000. It must be gold plated. Don't know what size, but my guess is it's about a 5 kilowatt. Based in ACT, these guys. Not much more we can say about that, except
watch out. Keep your eyes open.
Sounds like they've done the wrong thing. Here's one that I wrote. Making approved solar retailer status mandatory in Victoria would be disastrous.
I agree.
So the story here, in a nutshell, just keeping to the thing I want it to be about, is the Approved Solar Retailer Scheme, a Clean Energy Council Code of Conduct started in 2013, I think, and has always been sold to the solar industry, to the ACCC, and to everyone else as a voluntary code of conduct. And I think it's a very good voluntary code of conduct.
I agree. It's great even.
If solar installers want to put the extra effort in, they want to pay the money, they want to have the Clean Energy Council looking over their shoulder when they make sales, which is not a bad thing, they can sign up to it.
Yep.
And they can do that extra work.
Yes.
Good on them. And they can get the badge and they can use that as a point of difference.
Yep.
The problem is, it is slowly becoming mandatory. So it started in Queensland to sign up for the government money, which was zero interest loans and a few other things. You had to be an approved solar retailer. You got locked out of these schemes if you weren't. That wasn't too bad because it was relatively small in the scheme of things. Then South Australia in kind of November, $6,000 rebates on offer for batteries.
Yep.
You can only access that money if you're an approved solar retailer. So if you want to sell batteries in South Australia, you need to be an approved solar retailer. It's mandatory if you want to sell batteries in South Australia to all practical purposes. And then last week I heard from a very good source that Solar Victoria, the state government body that dishes out the Victorian solar rebate worth an extra $2,250 off the price of a solar system, were thinking about mandating Australian solar retailer status if you wanted to offer that rebate, or if you wanted to allow your customers to claim that rebate. Which would mean if you didn't have approved solar retailer status, you'd basically, I can't see how you'd operate in the Victorian market.
No, you'd be out of business.
So my point here is, they sold it to us as voluntary, and then kind of creeping up on us, it's becoming compulsory. I fear that if Labor gets in federally, I'm happy for Labor to get in federally, personally, but then they introduce a new rebate, which they're talking about on batteries. They will make it mandatory to be an approved solar retailer if you want to claim that rebate. So then it becomes mandatory.
Yeah.
Anyone that wants to sell batteries across Australia, you have to be an approved solar retailer.
Yep.
Now, why is it a bad thing if it becomes mandatory? Ronald, would you say?
Because it's going to raise prices for...
Justify that statement.
All right. Well, there's this thing called supply and demand. If you reduce the amount of people who can sell solar and install batteries, then the people left can raise their prices and make more money. So there's always an incentive for this to happen, and it happens throughout history. We try to regulate things. We generally try to encourage competition, not restrict it. Obviously, it doesn't always work, and this looks like it's one of these cases where a trade organization is working to cut the amount of competition faced by its members.
Yes, it's inevitable. So demand is high. They suddenly reduce the amount of supply. Prices have to go up. So that's bad for the consumer. What is good for the consumer is if some of the really dodgy guys are pushed out the industry. I don't have a problem with that, but they will throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Good guys will get pushed out too.
Yeah.
We've got Australian consumer law in Australia. It's brilliant for the consumer. We've got all the tools we need to crack down on these people. We just need to do it.
Yeah, they have compulsory inspections in Victoria.
Yep.
So every time a solar system is put in, it's inspected.
Yep.
Why is this additional protection apparently required? Because if the systems are dangerous, then it's a CEC who are doing the accreditation for every solar installer.
Yeah, but I mean, this doesn't even cover installations.
No, it
This
doesn't.
is only about the retailing side.
Yeah.
About the marketing, about the selling, and about the customer service. So the Clean Energy Council chief exec, lovely guy called Kane. He replied in a comment that appears to have been deleted now. I think that was deleted because it just became a big shit fight amongst installers. Very passionate about this about this topic. He said essentially, yes, you can't blame the states for mandating this scheme. So he's telling us that yes, he expects it to become de facto mandatory, and that's terrible. And then you've got the irony of the ACCC directly approving this scheme, which is reducing competition and increasing prices for consumers.
Yeah.
And in terms of consumer protection, just as an aside, from what I'm seeing is it's used to be a very safe place to buy solar. Now there are a few guys that have got through the net, that answered the right questions, changed their terms and conditions to keep the Clean Energy Council happy. They're being accepted into this club, and they're really bad guys. I would not recommend them to anyone. Some of these guys that are now in the scheme. And I have some of these guys I have told the Clean Energy Council about, and they have not been kicked out. Maybe they will in the future, but it seems to be a long drawn out process, if ever.
We'll have to see.
And then there was Energy Matters that I complained about vehemently for a long time, and they just got a slap on the wrist and never got kicked out. They're not Clean Energy Council approved retailers now because they've shut down in Australia as of the end of last month. But they still have Clean Energy Council approved badges all over their website.
Yep.
Which is a bit naughty, but the Clean Energy Council don't seem to be doing anything about that. So, any other comments on that?
No.
Yep. Rules on top of rules.
Yeah. Regulatory capture. Keep things simple, straightforward. I mean, you know, my father, he doesn't care about the retail side of things. He's going to say, give me a solar system.
Yep.
And he's going to want someone local. Probably someone he knows from the pub.
Probably someone cheap with low overheads.
Yes. He's going to say,
Yes.
give me a solar system. How much? Yeah, all right. Whack it on. You know, and he's not going to care terribly much. He'll ask me a few questions. If I'm lucky, he'll bother to ask me. He probably won't. I'll probably find out about it secondhand. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's bureaucracy spreading like a cancer. I hate bureaucracy. I know there's a need for it in a lot of situations, but there's a great quote. I think it's Henry Adams. He said something like, bureaucracy is a cancer that kills the sympathies of its victims. And I see very little sympathy for the solar installers that don't want to be approved solar retailers from the CEC.
Yeah. Yes. Someone's got to do the paperwork, but when things get out of hand, you've got to trim it back.
Yeah. And I guess the one other argument I'm seeing from the CEC is, you know, why don't they want to sign up? There must be something wrong with them.
Yeah.
Because it's a fucking free world, man.
Yes, exactly.
People don't want the
assumption of guilt.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't want to do the paperwork. They don't want to pay the fees, and they don't want you staring over their shoulder. They're complying with Australian consumer law. They've got deliriously happy customers. They're doing very good installations. They're not interested.
Moving right along. Longi boosts solar panel production capacity. This is an impressive amount of extra production coming out of Longi. Not Longi Long, he's another guy, but they're both impressive.
I think solar panels might come out of Longi, the guy.
I don't want to discuss his metabolism and...
Yeah, Longi, solar panel manufacturer, another 5 gigawatts, which
yeah,
kind of doubles their production, or does it?
Something like that, yes. I think they were producing, 4 gigawatts? Something like that. And now they're going to be producing an extra 5. They make the silicon solar cells, and they make the silicon solar panels. And they're going to be making a hell of a lot more of them. So clearly, I'm seeing lots of expansion in capacity in China. So despite the current low price of solar, they clearly see a huge future for solar PV. And yeah, I see it as well.
Yeah.
Not everyone is going to make it. There are companies which are going to go bust and go under, but that's the same in any business, all industries, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Go ahead granted for Gunnedah solar farm.
Yep, 165 megawatt solar farm in Gunnedah. It's pretty sunny out there.
The grey thing's the solar farm, the green thing's Gunnedah.
Yeah, Gunnedah's not that large.
So the solar farm's as big as the town.
Yeah, but the solar farm is about the size of an actual farm in the area. So.
Right.
And it's still pretty expensive, $1.21 a watt.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, compared to putting on your roof, yeah, that's the interesting thing about Australian solar. Putting it on your roof has always been so much cheaper up until recently than building a solar farm.
Yeah, right.
Every other country I'm aware of, it's the other way around.
Cool. We talked a little bit about this, and this is a new development. Hanwha Q cells, who are fighting big solar panel manufacturers internationally, have brought the fight to Australia.
Yes. Woohoo.
What is it? Jinko and Longi, I think they've got in their crosshairs.
Um,
They want to stop some of their panels coming into Australia because they allegedly infringe one or more of their patents.
yes. And in Europe, they want to smash up the panels.
Yeah, they haven't
my
said they want to do
God.
that with the Aussie ones.
Yeah, well, we'd fight them. You're not getting your hands on my panels. God damn it.
Any thoughts?
Hopefully this all gets resolved sensibly.
Q cells.
And whoever, and fairly, and justice is served, and it's not just troublemaking.
Q cells aren't in a great place financially, are they?
No, they're not in a great place financially, I'm afraid. They're doing poorly.
I get a report, I pay for a report every quarter on Altman Z score of solar panel manufacturers, and Hanwha a quarter ago they were just in the what's called the distress zone, and 3 months later they're quite a bit deeper in the distress zone. So yeah, they obviously got money to pay the lawyers.
Yes, but you know,
You always pay the lawyers first.
well, yeah, otherwise they'll sue you.
Yes. Cool. Now, a slide I've forgotten to put in there is about SunPower's 400 watt panel.
Oh yeah, yes, 400 watts, 104 cells.
Now
in the
available in
panel,
Australia.
Now available in Australia. That's a big panel.
400 watts.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's only it's the same size as SunPower's usual panels, which is just a little bigger than the standard 60 cell panel.
Yeah, right, that's amazing.
Yeah.
If you think 10 years ago, Solar Shop were installing 60 watt panels, little
Yeah,
Kanekas.
yep, tiny little
Now
one.
you can get a panel that's 400 watts in one pop.
22.6% efficient. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, wow.
But SunPower is doing worse than Hanwha Q cells financially.
Yeah, they're towards
Yes.
the bad end of the distress zone.
Yeah, they are. But the panels are reliable. So even, God forbid, they disappear, then your panels are very unlikely to have a problem.
Yeah.
So, and you know, I think that the SunPower name is good. So if someone buys them out, they're probably going to want to keep that as an ongoing concern. So
Yeah.
no need to be too concerned, too worried.
Yeah, cracking panels of SunPower. Hope they resolve their financial straits. Moving on. Okay, last story of the week. Well, this is about politicians bickering over it, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about the school strike for climate protests that are happening today, Friday.
Yep.
What do you think? Kids?
Great. I mean, why do we send kids to school? To prepare them for the future.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be a good idea if they have a future. Okay, I'm exaggerating, you know. We'll still have a future even if, you know, we kill half the population. So, okay, maybe... Now, I'm being too silly here. It's great that children are being involved in this, that they're involving themselves in it, and they're getting out there and they're fighting for a good cause. If they're fighting for a bad cause, I'd say, well, I admire your dedication, just not what you're doing. Climate change, it's a vital issue. We are damaging the environment. There's no doubt about that. People are dying as a result. We need to change what we're doing. It's simple.
Yeah. It really winds me up when people say kids should just stay at school and listen to what they're told and give me a break. They're passionate. They're getting out there. They want to change the world. That's a good thing. They're going to learn so much by being on one of these protests.
It's educational. Yeah.
My kids aren't interested. I asked them all three of them. I said, right, you want to strike? Want to go on strike tomorrow? Go at Parliament House, 11 o'clock? They were like, no, I'd rather go to school. I can't force them.
Oh, man, if my father let me get off school for a single day, no questions asked.
I think, in their defence...
Out like a shot.
In their defence, a lot of the kids are seeing that the adults are not doing enough to combat climate change and not taking it seriously, and that's absolutely 100% true.
Yes.
What my kids see every day, because we don't watch TV in the house, so they don't watch the news, they see me working every day on this solar stuff, and so I think they get the vibe that the adults in their life, and my wife works hard in the business too, are working quite hard to try and help solve this thing in their own little way. So I don't think they feel that this burning desire to go out there and say, hey, adults do more, even though adults should be doing more.
Also, children often do the opposite of what their parents do.
Yeah.
For example, I don't talk like this, like my father.
I'll find out when I meet him in
Yeah.
July, I think.
You'll see I'm spot on.
Okay.
You'll see I'm spot on. Except he's got more of a Dutch accent. But, I won't use that so people can understand me.
Yes. I think that's it for the week. Children.
See you later.